Parents, are you looking for ways to make Chromebooks safer at home and make sure your students are productive on them when you're not around? Well, we're going to give you some Chromebook distraction tips to keep your kids focused and safe online. Now, number one, Chromebooks are the number one device in K-12. Google says Chromebooks are easy to use, that they're engaging and inclusive, but parents and educators say that they're distracting, they're tempting for students. In this video, we're going to teach you 4 tips for minimizing Chromebook distractions and what you can do to keep your kids safe. Now, what is a Chromebook? Chromebooks are different from a regular laptop. They are cloud-based devices. Programs and information are generally stored and accessed from the internet rather than on the actual computer, within reason. Now, they run on Google's Chrome operating system, not Windows or Mac OS. So that's the software, but the hardware and computer are manufactured by all kinds of companies like HP, Dell, Asus, Acer, Lenovo. They come in all different form factors. They're pretty cool. But every Chromebook situation is different. Schools often use Google Workspace for education, which was previously known as G Suite for education. It's a lot like Gmail, but for businesses and organizations and schools. And using Google Workspace allows the school's technology administrator and staff to create accounts for students and set system-wide settings for any Chromebook they manage. Now, some of our tips may not work for your student's Chromebook based on the school's account settings. They have total control granularly of every single thing that you want them to do. And as always, talk with your student's teacher and your school's IT administrator for questions specific to your Google Workspace for education settings. And also talk to them because what I'm about to show you may not work for every school and it may not be the right fit for every student. Now, here's what we heard from parents and educators just like you. The most common questions or concerns from parents are that my student came home with a Chromebook and now he or she watches YouTube all the time. How can I block YouTube? Or from educators, students are playing games and watching videos on their devices when they're supposed to be watching a presentation or doing another activity on their device. How can I get them to focus in class? Well, we have 4 suggestions and tips to help. Once again, this isn't perfect for every school or parent, but it's a start. It's a way to open a dialogue. Now, tip number 1, start with a device agreement. This is a good tip for everybody. Start a conversation with students about the appropriate use of Chromebooks. We have a free social media agreement. If you become a member of SmartSocial.com, you can download our free social media cell phone safety agreement, which works on a Chromebook. Frequently review your school's student technology rules that are already in place, and maybe ask your school, do you have an agreement? Create an agreement that students contribute to setting the rules and expectations for the use of their devices. A student may have multiple agreements between different teachers and at home, but the more adults in their lives reinforcing the same safety strategies, the better. Now, next, having written and clear expectations can help guide all future behavior and discussions needed when students stray from their work. And students must learn from adults just like you how to use technology and practice building positive habits online with the internet instead of learning habits from the technology that's trying to distract them. You know, and you've seen from me before, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, TikTok, they all want to suck us into this stuff. So we need to make sure we set objectives outside of it. The same is true for Chromebooks. Here's points to consider when discussing the agreement with students. When is it appropriate to use the device? When is using the device not appropriate or not allowed? If it's not appropriate or an appropriate time for the device to be used, where should that device live? Or where should it sleep or take a nap, right? What types of websites are appropriate for students to use and when? The more you discuss this, the better. Maybe you make a list of green light websites, right? Good websites. And what types of sites are never appropriate on a school-issued or personal device? When is entertainment appropriate on the device? That's streaming videos, non-educational games, music, and so on. Is social media ever allowed on the device? Downloading apps or visiting social media websites. It could be like Instagram. You can access 90% of Instagram through a web browser. When is it appropriate to watch non-assigned YouTube videos? And who is appropriate to email or chat with on Chromebooks during school time or after school time? All very good questions. Tip number 2, setting up Google Family Link. Get in the habit of reminding students every time they start using a device the most important do's and don'ts from the agreement. Now, Google Family Link, Google owns Chromebooks, the OS, the operating system. I know it's manufactured by Lenovo or IBM or anywhere else, these other devices, but they own the operating system, so Google Family Link can help to lock this down. So if you buy your own Chromebook for your own household, you can use Google Family Link to lock that down if you want to. Look into whether the school allows families to connect to school Google accounts to the Google Family Link. Family Link allows parents to set limits for screen time and allow or block certain accounts and apps. And parents, consider talking with your school's teacher and school administrators about what settings they choose for the school devices, and have a conversation about how to work together to keep students safe online. Also, send them this video or the blog post or smartsocial.com. Tip number 3, turn off the Wi-Fi, but first enable offline mode in Google Drive. Talk to your school about this. In offline mode, Google Drive allows students to create, write, open, edit docs, sheets, slides, and files in a student's Google Drive even when they're not connected to the internet. So if they're writing a paper, they can do it offline. Any changes made in offline mode will usually save and sync next time the Chromebook is connected to the internet. Here's offline mode below. Create, open, and edit your recent Google Docs, sheets, and slides and files on this device when offline. And ask your school to turn this on. Number 3, again, at home, consider using a Wi-Fi system like Google Wi-Fi or Eero to easily control what and when specific devices have access to the internet. I personally have Eero. I paid full price. They're amazing, the top one. One of our awesome staff members, Beth, has the Google Wi-Fi on the bottom of the screen, and they're awesome too. She loves them. We're torn, so we're suggesting both. Consider using the Google Home or Eero apps to set acceptable use times for every device and help control when devices and the internet are off limits. They have a lot of granular control in the apps. And you can also say, this is my son's iPhone, and it turns off at 8 p.m. The Wi-Fi disengages and so on. It's pretty neat. Note, some student assignments may need access to the internet, such as Scratch, Prodigy, iReady, etc., any one of these apps. Communicate with your student about what their homework is, what resources they need, and if they say, Mom, I need the internet, well, actually work with them. Find out. Go, okay, great. Well, show me. Let's do some work together. And then you turn it on only if you really do see that, so that they're not begging for it and going off to other sites. Tip number 4, express your concerns to school admins. Work as a community to understand and make technology setting decisions. Ask how your school upholds the Children's Internet Protection Act. And also with school-provided devices, whether they're used at school or out of school. Super important. Ask your school what type of monitoring software they use and how they use it to keep students safe online. When all else fails, enforce that Chromebooks in your house are turned off and put away when it's not an appropriate time to use them, and that your students, whether at home or school, do their work on a location that is visible to parents or teachers for monitoring. That they do it out in the open so somebody could walk by and see it. We always recommend disconnecting from screens at least 1 hour before bedtime. I'm going to tell you too, if kids are going to bed at 9 o'clock, try and wrap up the screen time use at 7. Consider plugging in all devices to charge at night in a centralized location away from the bedrooms. I'd suggest the parents' bedroom or bathroom or in the kitchen. Turn off those notifications and so on. To recap, Chromebooks can be a good learning tool for learning both educational content and great for internet use if you're careful. The internet has a strong set of temptations for distractions, or for any user and young students. Making the right decisions is so important, and building those positive habits that they learn from you. We encourage teachers and parents to work together to help teach and reinforce responsible internet use at every age. Now, parents, keep learning about social media. Scan the QR code, the dinosaur on the left, to join our free newsletter to get more tips and news each week. Scan the dinosaur on the right to join our VIP program to be the most informed parent on the block. Now, schools, let us help you reach your parents. Scan the dinosaur on the left to learn more about our anti-bullying platform that is absolutely incredible. It lets you be the eyes and ears on your campus and get anonymous reporting. Or scan the one on the right just to set up a call with us and partner with us there. Once again, these QR codes are your access to us. Don't forget to rate, subscribe, review, and share so we can help more educators and parents just like you. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Josh Ochs. As always, keep it light, bright, and polite. We'll see you on the next episode. Have a great day.